So this goes back to what we talked about. Had you made a plan for what to do after you won, your motivation and execution wouldn't be waning right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to talk about this specifically, is because you made a new plan. What's your new plan? Share your new plan with the masses, put it out to the universe, rip a hole in the universe, right? Like we talk about that. Share it with God, and share it with us. What's your new goal for 2025?
Welcome to Old Guys Still Rock. Super grateful you gave us a look or a listen. We specifically developed this podcast for friends or soon to be friends who are in the 40 plus category. This podcast is a platform to not only have your voices be heard, but also for others who are going through the same thing and know that they too aren't alone. Our topics may be business, topics may be entrepreneurship, our topics may be social, or our topics may be just everyday life. Whatever it is, we hope that you give it a share and leave us a comment. But most of all, if you want your voice to be heard, please leave us a comment on how to get a hold of you so you too can be an old guy that still rocks and help build our community. Until we speak again, stay safe, but most of all, God bless. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is your first time here. You have just reached the best podcast that you've never heard before. We are Old Guys Still Rock. I am old. And I am Blair Armstrong of Team Armstrong Coldwell Banker, located in beautiful Palm Desert, California. I am a global luxury specialist in the world of residential real estate. Basically, we handle real estate pretty much all over California, but we really specialize in the Coachella Valley, which is basically Palm Springs to Indio, Coachella, so on and so forth. And then on my left today, the way that I'm looking at it in a monitor, is a good friend of mine and co-host, but a good friend of mine for almost 30 years, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated. And again, if this is your first time here, Brent wears many different hats, from property manager to payroll companies to wellness centers to body shops, detail shops. He's also building another business as we currently speak into business coaching, personal coaching. I think right now, you told me earlier that you have about 15 different clients, and that seems to be growing every week. Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about this stuff to you guys, it comes from licking the gutter and failures, and then coming back and having successes, and probably going back and licking the gutter again to come back to have another success. So there's a lot of experience. Are we the end all be all? No, but we hope to trigger some stuff in your mind to have like, oh yeah, I remember that. Maybe that's what the track I need to get back on, or why is he talking about this when they should be talking about that? So these are just triggers to get conversations started to help us get better. But that was a long story short. Before we get started, dude, I want to show this.
Okay. Nice. OGSR gear. Heck yeah.
Get yourself some, son.
That's right. You know what's super cool is Nick and his wife, Rachel, were out at the Wellness Center, and I gave them their gear. They're longtime followers, listeners, and they came out and hung out with us and worked out in the Wellness Center. And they're standing in front of our Wellness Center wall, and he put that as his cover photo for his Facebook and Instagram. It was super cool to see.
That's awesome. And
he's got they both have their OGSR gear on. So thank you, Nick and Rachel. We appreciate your support. And it was cool to see your profile picture change. So
I love it, man. I love it. So, brother,
yeah,
how are you? What's going on in your world? I woke up this morning. It was 41 degrees for us.
That's basically the sweatshirt.
Hence the sweatshirt. And I want people like 41 degrees, blah, blah, blah. You have to understand, about 3 months ago, it was 124. So we've had almost an 80-degree difference.
Yeah.
In 3 months. And so people are like, God, you're such a weenie. It's like 40 degrees outside. My blood's thin. So anyway, I felt good, man. I'm like, oh, it's 41 degrees. I get to wear my OGSR sweatshirt. I'm stoked for that. But you doing good?
Yeah, it's gonna get up to 41 today here. Yeah.
Oh man,
Yep.
that
And
sucks.
the kids have been staying home. They've had these little light fevers, like up to 99 and 100 degrees this week. So we keep them home from school. We're not those send them to school and get everybody else sick parents. So we may or may not be going to the Veneta Light Parade tonight,
Uh-oh.
which will be super cool if we
Yeah.
go. If we don't, no big deal. We want to keep the kids home and keep them getting better. So
Yeah.
that's our big thing for tonight. We've got a lot of things going over the next couple of weeks, like everybody. But as we talk, separation season, right? So
Right.
we're in separation season. You and I talk about that starting basically at Thanksgiving. Most people just check out 6 weeks of no production or limited production, piss poor follow up. And I use that word piss poor because it is right now. I can't get anybody to respond via email, smoke signals, Pony Express, anything. Any form of communication right now is limited at best, and most people are checked out. So we'll get into that. A little bit of planning for 2025. We talked about that last time. We're going to talk about manifestation, motivation, and execution going forward into 2025. But I got a little call out.
I know. I heard I got to get some lickings today. So what's going on today?
You're going to get your tail busted. So
Okay.
Kyle Vanderlinden, thank you, Kyle, for listening to us. Greatly appreciated. It's funny. I called him the other day, and he's like, "Well." So I get to hear the man, the myth, the legend in person. And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I was just listening to your podcast." So he says, after I talked to him, he sent me a text, and he says, "Finishing that podcast. And man, you got to tell Blair he can't be an old guy that still rocks if he pulls a third podcast with how he has no motivation. Discipline, my man. F motivation. How I feel doesn't change what the F I do. It just makes me a bitch. LOL."
Oh, Kyle.
Yep.
I'll save the bad words for later, but you're right, man. I got to keep this. Well, I can kind of swear on YouTube, but I kind of want to get this out anyway. But you're right, dude. But in my defense, you're 100% right, Kyle. I know I talk about it, but I also don't want to come on here and sound like it's rainbows and roses every freaking day. And so Brent is a rainbow rose guy for the last couple of weeks. I'm the freaking Eeyore who lost my tail. So that's just the way it is. You're spot on.
Yeah.
But I feel that, Brent and I actually, this is a mutual agreement. And Kyle, I know you're calling me out, so we're good. And I'm great with that constructive criticism. But there's so many podcasts that make it sound like it's like every day's candy.
Yeah.
And we promised ourselves when we started this, is just going to be real life. I've been struggling. There's a lot of people that struggle through this time to it. And I didn't need to come in and it's like, oh, everything's great. Oh, we're just doing so good. We did. Hey, sometimes I get my ass kicked, dude. But you're right. I trust me. I don't like to, and I know what he's going to, but I don't want to be the bitch, but I've been the bitch for the past 3 weeks. So,
well, and on that, which is why I wanted to talk about planning for 2025 with manifestation, motivation, and execution. So this goes back to what we talked about. Had you made a plan for what to do after you won, your motivation and execution wouldn't be waning right now.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to talk about this specifically, is because you made a new plan. What's your new plan? Share your new plan with the masses, put it out to the universe, rip a hole in the universe, right? Like we talk about that. Share it with God, and share it with us. What's your new goal for 2025? Where do you guys need to land?
We originally started at $20 million in closed sales. I thought that was weak sauce since we finished at just a little over 15 after a couple of days of thinking about it. So about 3 days ago, I told David, I said, scratch 20. We're doing 25.
Cool.
And that's where, so we're going to do 10 million more in closed sales, which could be, one house here. We do have those properties here.
Yep.
It could be 2 or 3 houses. So
Hell, just across the street, the average price is 21 million.
Yeah. So, I mean,
what's that other golf course across the
Bighorn?
Yeah. So that's where Ed Milet has 2 houses.
That's close. So we have Bighorn, which is kind of on the south side. Ed Milet's about 20 minutes away over at the Madison.
Okay.
But yes, same concept.
Those are like $20 million average, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, those are big boy houses. Those are multi-generational stuff, but it just comes with a different tag. We have people here in Ironwood. So I think the most expensive one that we sold was pretty darn close to 5 million. That was just really high end for Ironwood. This is where we are. We have people that could live in Bighorn, but they don't want that stigma, right? The hoity-toity. Like, dude, I have enough money to buy 2 or 3 of those houses, but I'm real cool here, and I'm just going to hang out with everybody else. So that's the vibe here. So we have people here from anywhere from that make $100,000 a year to $100 million a year. And you can't tell the difference. And that's one of the attractions to Ironwood Country Club, why people coming here. The hoity-toityness is you can go to nothing against Madison. I know some great people at Madison. I know some great people at Bighorn. Sometimes those clubs will bring people that like to talk about how much they make instead of just being people.
Right.
Way off the subject there. Let's get back to
yes and no. So you got a 25 million, right? And so just so you guys know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down Blair's plan, and hopefully these triggers, cheat codes, whatever you want to call them, will help you to plot and plan for yourself. So everybody says, make your list for 2025. And every year it happens the same, right? Or get your life plan in order, or whatever it is that whatever Instagram or Facebook sensation that you're following, they're like, do this, and all of those things are good. But what ends up happening typically is by February, everybody's forgotten their plan. Everybody's not executing on their plan. They've lost their motivation, and they're just going through the motions again. And they're doing the same thing that they did the year before. So now so in Blair's plan, we have a goal and we have a manifestation, right? So we've manifested we're going to do 25 million, and you and David agreed on it. And I'm guessing that you guys are meditating over it, praying over it, whatever your scenario is, you're going to be working through that over the next coming months. So now let's talk about motivation. So what are the things that you're going to do to keep yourself motivated and keep each other motivated?
So we're really kind of going back to following the foundation of 75 hard. One of the big things that we have is going back to the power list. That's something that we've worked on in the past. It kind of got away from us, but now one thing that we do is, we write down our 5 critical tasks every day.
Yeah.
Take a picture of it, text it to each other. And at the end of the day, you go back and you say, did you win the day or lose the day? Okay. So now we've become accountability partners.
Good.
So we have that part of it, and they have to be. It doesn't have to be all business. It's something that's going to help us to be advanced, because there's more to getting this goal than just business. We have to be refocused basically on relationships in marriage, refocus on relationships with outside sources that may not have anything to do with business at the point. So whatever that is, obviously, we have to be real conscientious of reading 10 pages a day.
Yep.
Obviously, that's going to be part of the power list. It is what it is. My reading 10 pages a day is typically some sort of devotional. There's probably 3 to 5 pages in that, depending on what day it is, and then whatever those pages are, then I finish it up at the end of the night with another 7 to 5 pages of something else.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of breaking it down for you on that. One thing that we had at the old office that we have not put back up here was a gratitude board.
Okay.
So everything that we get, everything that happens that we're grateful for, we write it down on the board.
Okay.
We're going to change it up a little bit. In the center of that board, once we get it hung up, we're going to put 25 million on it. So when we come into the office every day, we're going to look at that 25 million. So it's just going to be a constant 25 million, 25 million. Is $25 million going to make us a better person? No, but it's going to help us do other things, charity wise, just marketing wise. There's just so many different things to do that.
I got an idea.
Okay.
So you guys ought to get T-shirts made that say 25 million on them, or ask me about 25 million.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like when you guys are at a charity event, ask me about 25 million.
Yeah.
Right. Our goal is to do 25 million. If we do this, then this is how much we're going to donate to this particular charity.
Yeah. Great idea. Perfect.
Just a thought. Okay?
Because, well, that's a funny thing is that people wear around, ask me about real estate. I'm like, oh, I hate that. Really?
Yeah.
So anyway, ask me about 25 million. I'm good with that. Because it just spurs on conversation.
Well, and you don't want to wear it to customers, right? And it'd be cheesy or whatever. But if you were at a charity golf event, or you're at a charity gala or something like that, and you could wear your suit jacket with the T-shirt, and then when you meet somebody, you can open your suit jacket and ask me, and they're like, okay, I got to know now, right? And it starts the conversation, right?
Right.
And that would help you possibly get there, because then somebody would show support for not only supporting you and your business, but supporting your cause, right?
Right. So another thing that we have to do, one step that we took this year is we hired a what do I want to call it? A social media person to do all of our social media for us. And that has probably been a really good decision for us, because it's a lot to put together little snippets here and there and do some different things and then get that out there and create that stuff. Why is social media important? Because it's over a course of time and be a top of mind awareness.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody asked me the other day, well, is that bringing you any business? Like, well, it's not today, but
business is about a savings account, right?
Exactly.
What we do today is our successes or our failures 6 months from now.
Mm-hmm. So, and we've been, since we've hired this person, our average views through Reels, which you guys haven't seen us, Team Armstrong on Instagram, go back and look at those things too. It'll show you how many views it has. We're typically around 350 to 500 views within 2 to 3 days. Mm-hmm. Are there people a lot better than? Yeah, but it's us. And so what that does, not only for us, it gets us exposure. Mm-hmm. So when we do put in, so then on top of that, so we do little snippets, where's your favorite golf shop? Where's your favorite restaurant? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I threw in a video of a house that we have. I actually resubmitted. Here's a 90-second video of a house that we have listed for it. Within 2 days, it got over 250 views. That's better than I can do in an open house in a month. Yeah. But the point of it is going back to what you said, is we are starting our separation season 2-3 months ago on that portion, even though that I was feeling lackadaisical and I'm just trying to get stuff. There were little things that we're doing to kind of keep that. We may have been at 30,000 feet instead of 42,000 feet, right? But we still had that plane on the ground. It just was not going at optimal height.
Yeah.
So that has been a realization for me, is, okay, that's something that I've been taking, is another thing that we realized, that I can't do everything, because if I start trying to do everything, then I'm basically just bogging myself down. That's been a realization in the last week. So I'm trying to find different things that I can delegate, that David has, earned the trust, has earned the respect of all of these different things that he's done over the course of 2 years, to start handling different situations and take on more responsibility, to take off responsibility of mine. We hired a social media person to take responsibility off David and me. And like, you come in for a couple hours one day, and we do 5, 6, 7 of them right off the bat. And then she just plugs them, of course, across the week.
Okay, so to recap, we have manifestation done for 2025, right? We have motivation triggers done, and you've got a gratitude board. So that's part of the motivation, and also that will also tie into the next phase, which is execution. Do you guys have hourly, daily, weekly, monthly goals outlined, written down, and defined that you'll also put up on your board?
Yes and no. The thing that we do have a spreadsheet. Like, okay, we need to do this much, and it'll break down how many people that we have to be in contact per day. Blah 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 blah. It just goes down.
So with your accountability partnership, I would suggest putting that in a place where both of you can see it and it's very apparent, and it's not something you have to go search for, right? Yeah, so people keep track of a lot of things on spreadsheets, and spreadsheets are great, but you have to open the computer, turn it on, and then you get distracted by email. How many emails you get a day? 150, 200, 300?
Yeah.
Right? So how many hours a day do you have that you're not looking at your goal? You're not looking at your execution goals, your daily execution goals. So if you have that, I would figure out a way to get that just right out in front. 25 million up on the wall, and here's how we're going to do it. So it's visual.
Yeah, we could hang that. The gratitude board is basically a dry erase board that you would have in a classroom. So it's not something small. So we can basically implement that on and hang those on there and write those on. So that's a good fix. You're absolutely right, because we have it gets tucked away. It's something that we could look every day when turn on our computer, look at marketing and stuff like that. But having it out in front it's just
when you walk in the office, it's like boom, right, right there in the face, right? And so and then you can see what David did and what you did or didn't do, and then with that accountability, it's like, oh man, I didn't make my 18 phone calls yesterday. So I got to make 18 today, and whatever delta that I had yesterday. So if I only made 13, now I got 18 plus 5. Right? Again, what I do today triggers 6 month success or failures.
Yeah, I think taking what you just said and going back to the power list are two things that walk hand in hand with each other. It's like, okay, here's what needs to happen. So how do I take those and put those and implement those in my power list thing to get those done? So
remember, power list items are things that you're trying to create habits, and you're going to try to win 21 days in a row so you create habits. The power list isn't a to-do list. I know you know this because you read the book and you but I'm just, for our listeners, the power list is not it's not a to-do list. It's not I need to do this every day, kind of a thing. It's not a what do we want to call it? Non-negotiables list. That's a whole different list. A task list is a whole different list. The power list is to try to create habits for 21 days. So on that power list might be, did I hit my daily goal? Daily execution goal, right? Yes or no, kind of a thing. And then your daily execution would be on your $25 million board. Yeah, and again, none of this is like etched in stone, guys. It's like we're trying to break down what Blair's doing and going to do, so that way you guys see it and help formulate a plan instead of just making a bunch of lists and sticking them on a spreadsheet and tucking them away.
Yeah, I think the big thing too is, once you touched on the power list, it's a habit creating list, right? Once you've created that habit after 21 days, it's now, okay, you need to take that off your power list because now it's a habit. Yeah. And you need to put you need to do something else that, okay, I have that taken care of. I know I have to do that today. It's ingrained in my mind. What's my next one? Or if you're struggling after 21 days to keep that going, but I kind of got it ready, it doesn't have to be 5. You could have 5 or 6 or 7 things, maybe 8 things on a power list. But once you've why am I even having this on there? It's like every day. Like for me, reading the Bible, it's an everyday thing. I don't need to have that on my power list because I know that's what I'm going to do. It's a habit of mine.
Well,
So,
that might be on your non-negotiables, so that way you keep
right,
track of it, right? But
right,
after the 21 days, now it transfers to your non-negotiables.
exactly. And then you can make another list for that on top of this. So again, if you don't have this book, you don't have to have it.
Yeah.
You can create this on a tab,
Well,
a
reach out
tablet.
and I'll send you the PDF and I'll help
Yeah,
walk you through it.
yeah,
And that way you don't have to spend $40 on a book.
yeah. We just buy the book because for me,
It's easier.
well, it's not that it's easier. It's going back to what you, and I think that's a big part of this manifestation. It's accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I spent $40. Did I just spend $40 for it to collect dust, or did I spend
Where's my
$40 to actually?
ROI?
Did I? Am I investing in taking time to put stuff in there? So it's just yes, I can go to Staples and buy a tablet for $1, and I can
Yeah.
create the same thing. You don't need that. Andy Frisella would tell you the same thing. You can go do
Yep.
this, but it's triggering stuff. I'm like, I just spent money on this, and it's sitting here, and the book will stare at you like,
It does too.
dude. Are you going to put something in this today, or are we just going to go ahead and go back and turn your temperature down to 72?
Mm-hmm.
So there's mental things into this thing that just trigger. Some people don't need that. I need it. It is what it is. So anyway, that's it. So those are the things we do. I think the big thing for us is we did a lot of things to kind of get here, and we took a breath. Bringing back what Kyle said earlier, is we took a breath and we kind of let that plane just go on autopilot for a little bit, instead of like, hey, we can go faster, we can go higher with this, and now we're trying to regroup.
So the piece that's missing in your 2024 plan was that you didn't plan for what to do after you meet your goal,
Absolutely,
right?
100%.
So you need a after plan for success. What am I going to do? If in fact you actually do write down, I'm going to take the last 2 weeks of the month off, do it, but that's your plan. You're following your plan. You're not just, well, I won, so now I'm going to take the last 2 weeks off. Right? And so if you had on your plan that you're going to take the last 2 weeks off, then follow your plan. If you don't want to, then don't. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, and I want to say that because you just triggered something that I did that I forgot about, that we did through 2 or 3 days ago. So one thing that we promised, that we made a pact with each other, is, first of all, that we're going to sit down every week. We're going to have some sort of leadership educational moment every Tuesday at 9:00. If it's Greg Groeschel, if it's Ed Milet, if it's Andy Frisella, whatever. And the good thing about his is yes, I am the team leader of this because it's Team Armstrong and what it is, but I'm also, my main purpose, especially when you join our team of real estate, is how are you going to make you into that leader, that you can take this concept of what we want to do here at Team Armstrong with the world of real estate and go and then take it and open up another franchise or another office someplace else and have your own team. That's a whole premise is to build you up to be me, but you. Okay. So a little plug there, but that's just our mindset of, we're just not a team for us to like, okay, you join the team, you're going to help them make money. No, I want to help you create that. You can go take a Team Armstrong and create another office someplace else and have your own team in a different state, a different country, whatever it is. So here are that. So that's why we got away from that. Definitely getting back into that on Tuesday. But one thing that we promised, we're going to do one sort of educational seminar once a quarter.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to go do that once a quarter. So obviously January, February, March, we have to find something in that part. And then second quarter, third quarter. Now, how did I have it on here? I actually have it down here, but we have basically for October 1st of January, October 1st of 2025, we are going to start planning for 2026.
Yep.
And it's in our calendar.
Good.
It's there. It's locked and loaded, and we are notified a week out. And we put that in there. So October 1st, okay, 2026 is coming. What are we doing? What type of marketing? Because in our world, I explained this why we did this. In our world of real estate, it kind of, obviously we get back into season, people start coming back in October from wherever they are. But it also is, okay, they're coming back. They come back for a couple of weeks and then they leave. And then November comes around and they come back for a couple of weeks and then it's Thanksgiving. And then they go back to their house and then they come back for a couple of weeks and it's Christmas. And then all of a sudden it's January. Mm-hmm. So what are we going to do marketing wise, starting our marketing to kind of like, let's set the tone of getting things in motion. So like, yeah, I saw you a little bit in October. I saw you a little bit in October. I really remember you in December. And by the way, we're either ready to buy or sell in January, February, March.
I think the key is the plan. Again, the piece that's missing for this year, and I think you haven't articulated it clearly enough. What is your plan to stay at the same altitude or temperature after you meet your goal?
Yeah. You're right. I haven't like articulated enough. The point of this is we are going to be more aggressive on doing daily things. They're going to help us not take off altitude or take off speed. We're going to be in a constant state of speed and altitude.
So December 1 comes like it did this year.
Right.
And you hit your goal. Mm-hmm. What's your plan for the next 3 weeks of December? For 2025,
as of right now,
yeah.
Okay. As of right now, is we're putting together marketing pieces. We sent out some mailers. We're creating a new marketing brochure. As I said, which I'm not articulating right.
The reason I'm badgering you about mm-hmm. this is because I want this to be. If I was coaching you, which I do, mm-hmm. and I would tell you that unless it's written down and visible for everyone to see on your team, it's not a goal.
Right.
Right? It's an idea, and there's no strategy and there's no measurement of it. So what's your strategy and measurement of the last 3 weeks of 2025 after you hit 25 million? And whether you have it right now or not, that's the piece that was missing in 2024, and that's the piece that I'm going to help push you to get to in 2025. I already see that you've already hit your goal. Mm-hmm. That's the manifestation part. I don't know if you see it. I don't know if David sees it. But I see that you've already hit your goal. Mm-hmm. Now I want to know what you're going to do after you hit your goal.
That's what our plan is. That's what I'm going back to. And maybe I didn't state that the right way, but if we're talking about 2026, a year from now, and I know that you wanted about this month, but that's the purpose of 2025 in October 1st. What's our goal? Okay. How are we going to put that together? And that's the whole purpose of that. Not only are we going to start creating marketing pieces, but we'll know by then if we're going to hit 25 million or not. Because if it's not in the hopper by October, if we're not at 21 million or 22 million by October, then we just know November and December those are very tough months to try to make that happen. So you're going to know by that time if it's going to happen or not, or if we have to make adjustments. Like, hey, man, we're really close. We need to do this and this. I can make adjustments in those 3 months to create something. Or again, it's just it's a fourth quarter in a game, mm-hmm. if you may, and we need to make some fourth quarter adjustments to get us to that extra 3 points or the extra touchdown to help us win the game.
Well, let's go back to sports analogy, if that's where your mind goes. So I'd prefer that you put in your second or third stringers and give them some practice time, and you have already won the game by the first half.
Okay.
So our plan is to bring on another person maybe in fourth quarter and bring them up to speed and help us to hit 100 mm-hmm. to 12, right? Instead of 58 to 12.
Yeah.
Blow it out of the water. Right. Yeah. So if we hit 25 million, our goal is to hit 30. That's our after success plan.
Okay.
So we don't take our foot off the gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that you need to manifest that today. And then you need to provide yourself with motivation for that. And then you need to go to execution. And then you need to also plan for after that success as well. So think about this. If you hit another 5 million by December 12th, Are you going to take the last 2 weeks off? Is that on your plan? Or are you going to try to go for 35 million?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to definitely try for 35.
But what you manifest today will pay you next year. So every step up the mountain, celebrate, step, celebrate, step, celebrate, step, until the end of the bell at 11:59, December 31. Or make a plan. If you hit your goal, your reward is to take a week off at the end of December. But know, if you take that week off at the end of December, your June's going to suck.
Yeah, right? It's a double-edged sword.
Right? So rather than that, maybe take 2 long weekends, right, in December if you win. Figure out what your reward is so that way you can measure your goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, is to have a clear and concise plan too, but it's also is to make sure that, if the pilot needs to go to the bathroom while the plane's firing, make sure that you have a good pilot keep running the plane, right?
Well, everybody goes to strategy because strategy is the fun part. I'm talking about defining your measurement and then start the process over in a microcosm, if you will.
Okay. Yeah.
So hopefully this helps anybody who's listening. Hopefully this has helped you to figure out how to plan for 2025, because everybody just makes goals and everybody makes lists and everybody talks about strategy and nobody ever measures. And then by the time February or March rolls around, you're completely off your plan. We own a wellness center. How many people are going to sign up and stop going at the end of January?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, gosh darn it, you take it, if you get sick or something like that and you can't go to the fitness center or, especially when you get to our age or older, atrophy sets in quick. And basically what Brent was just saying in there is like, okay, if you take some time off, that's just going to prolong the process, right? It's going to prolong you losing an extra pound or 2 pounds or 3 pounds or 10 pounds, whatever you want to lose. We're using that as an analogy. But it's so right. It's how you keep in a constant state of motion. Even if it's working on something like, okay, yeah, you may take a breather, but work 2 hours a day instead of 8 hours a day, but at least keep that motion running.
Well, you proved it when you were on vacation, right?
Yeah.
So you still executed an hour or 2 a day of work. And when you got back, you didn't have this train wreck mess that you had the year before.
Right.
And there wasn't a lot of stress.
Yeah.
So instead of lowering your temperature all the way to 0 while you're on vacation, lower your temperature to like 40 or 50. And that way it doesn't take you as long to get back up to 70 or 80 when you get back.
Yeah. One of my big things that I want to get done this year, and we'll put this on our board, is we need to find the gap that is not getting done, and then find that person to fill that gap. So I don't get burnout.
And part of that 2025 plan should be making a list of what's going to hold you back from attaining all your goals. And then work on the list of things that are holding you back.
Yeah, it's finding that gap. What is that missing piece that we're not doing, and because we don't like doing it, and then finding the person for a couple hours a month or a week, whatever it's going to take, is to get that stuff done.
Yeah.
And it's identifying that gap, and that's what we're trying to. We're thinking that we did a great podcast with Greg Rochelle the other day, and I'm like, okay, we need to identify something that we really know that needs to get done, but we hate doing it, and we need to go find that person to get it done for us. So it keeps everything motion. Delegation, I said that earlier in the podcast, is delegating responsibilities to different people that are good, or basically that were made for that purpose, is to take that and run with it and get it done and not be cheesy.
Well, we went a little bit long, but I think we've been very effective in articulating how to formulate a 2025 plan.
Yeah.
Or any year, or even in quarterly plans or semi-annual plans. And I'm happy to help anybody. I'd be happy to do a free half-hour call with anybody that has any need on how to formulate their 2025 plan. I'm grateful for Kyle Vanderlinden for giving us the feedback that we could kind of
For sure, man.
smack Blair around a little bit.
Don't let me get you your construction site, Kyle. I'll pick your ass apart.
I'm grateful for all of our listeners and followers, and I would ask you from the bottom of my heart, and Blair's probably too, if you're listening, please follow, please like, please share. It's very important that we get this information out. There's not a lot of folks out there that they're calling you out and telling you to get to your plan, but nobody's helping you get to your plan. And nobody's supporting you in trying to help you and your teams get better every time that you listen to them. At least I don't think so.
Can we hold that? I know that we're running long, kind of little Joe Rogan-esque of the day. I think that's you just said something really big. There's a lot of people that may not be independent in the work world or entrepreneurs. They might be entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. And there is a point in time that they were led to a company because they said they're going to do A, B, and C for them. And all of a sudden they're looking for A, B, and C, and those guys are not around.
Yeah.
I'm kind of dealing with that. It's not the sob story, and I'm not looking for stuff like this, but sometimes you're giving smoke and mirrors of people are going to be there for you, and they're not. And what Brent just said is, if you're feeling that way, reach out to him, reach out to me. We get it. We've been in that corporate world. We've been in that stuff. You're kind of in that corporate world a little bit, right?
I am 100%.
Right? And sometimes it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it happens, especially when you have an entrepreneur mindset, but maybe you're an entrepreneur, which means you're an employee. So use the resources that we have. We're not the end, as I said, we're not the end all be all, but Brent's got a great brain. I've got a great brain of getting stuff done. But the more that we work together, the less you feel like you're going to be on an island. That's the reason why, again, another reason why we started this podcast. Yep. You're feeling like you're on an island and you feel like you're given promises and those promises are not coming to fruition right now for whatever it is. It's nothing against your company. Your leader may have a lot of stuff on their plate. And if you're looking for a resource to I'm stuck here, reach out to us so we can not only help you, but in essence, you may go back and be able to help your leader. Mm-hmm. Or your team leader or whatever it's going to be, or your boss, whatever, is to help them become better as well.
It's okay to manage up, people. It's okay to manage up.
And it takes a lot to think about that.
You should be doing it. Yeah, you should be managing up personally.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you this right now, I hope, David, when you watch this, it's like David's managed me up in the last 6 months. You know, he's freaking put my feet to the fire, and sometimes I don't like it. But, you know, he's earned that respect, and he's given us some ideas, and he's held me accountable on some different things and has pressed me on some stuff that I delay on or I'm sidetracked on, but it's okay. It's good. It helps everybody out at the end of the day. So it was good stuff, man. Yeah, you guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. If you've watched us a bunch of times and you haven't shared the show, share the freaking show. This is free education, free triggers for you. I know a lot of you guys come out and say, I learned a lot from it. Great. How many people have you shared it with? And Kyle called me out today, calling some people out there that watch our show all the time. Just go ahead and share the show. It doesn't hurt anybody. It's a little link, and they may like it and they may not like it. But if you have a comment, just like Kyle did, let us know about it.
Bring it on.
You want to become better. You want to do better. But until we see each other next week, stay safe. But most of all, God bless, guys. Thank you so much for everything. Take care.